I hope you're all doing fine. This week we are going to start with a unit of Greek mythology. This presentation is just a little tiny introduction of the great world of the Greek mythology. According to the poet and scholar Robert Graves, a myth has two main functions. The first one is to answer those awkward questions that children sometimes ask. For example, who made the world? How will it end? Who was the first man? Where do souls go after death? And the second function of the myth is to justify an existing social system and account for traditional rites and customs. In ancient Greece, stories about gods and goddesses and heroes and monsters were an important part of everyday life. So they explain everything from religious rituals to the weather. Myths are basically traditional stories of gods, kings, and heroes. They show the relations between gods and people. That's a very important characteristic. Once we start reading myths, you will realize how gods and goddesses are always in touch with human beings. And mythology was a form of early science to Greeks because it helped explain the unexplainable. Myths are going to try to explain things that mostly are related to nature. Here we have some examples of those things that are giving an answer by this type of stories. For example, why are there four separate seasons? How is lightning created? How was the fire created, and why do we have it? The Greek mythology was fully developed by about 700 BC, before Christ. In Greek mythology, there is no single original text like the Christian Bible or the Hindu Vedas that introduces all of the myths, characters, and stories. Instead, the earliest Greek myths were part of an oral tradition that began in the Bronze Age. Here we have the picture of these two men who are considered the earliest Greek poets whose work has survived. Their names are Homer and Hesiod. I think Homer is a little more popular than Hesiod because Homer is the one who wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey. Probably you have heard about these stories before. Not sure if you're reading in 10th or or 11th grade about this Trojan story, but if you have the chance to do it, I recommend you to read it. Here we find some of the ancient Greek beliefs. The first one is related to death. They were not afraid to die. They knew that that was going to happen sooner or later, but if they could die as heroes, or making heroic actions, that would be the best way to do it. Also, they were considered tough, restless, ambitious. Honor for them was extremely important. Gods look like human beings. I mean, they behave and look like them, okay, like normal people. That's what I'm trying to say. And they had many flaws. They were very stubborn. They were very very impulsive. If they had to punish, they would do it. They were always looking for power. And based on this, there are many things or many conflicts that are going to be developed. The creation myth is going to explain how the world was created, and it does not give much explanation, but this is the way that the Greeks used to see things, or used to think that everything started. To the Greeks, everything starts from nothingness, okay? And that nothingness is going to be called chaos. Chaos gives birth to the earth, and the earth is going to be called Gia. And also, chaos gives birth to the night. Then from the earth and the night comes the day. Also from Gia in the sky is gonna be called Uranus, gives birth to Cronus. Cronus is a titan, okay? And also they're gonna be giving birth to other titans, to cyclopes, to one-eyed giants, and to hecatombres, okay, that are like a 50 head and 100 arms creatures, okay? Very weird, by the way. Greek gods are going to be divided into heaven, earth, and sea. Probably you are familiar with some of these Greek gods and goddesses, so you might think about which ones you have seen in, or they have been represented in heaven, which ones have been represented on earth, and which ones have been represented in the sea, right? The Titans ruled before the god of Olympus. The Titans were the children of Uranus, we already mentioned that. And the Titans were overthrown by the Olympians. Watch the first episode of the Clash of the Gods, where they explained better how everything started, and there we are going to get to know some of the gods and goddesses of the Olympus. Okay, so I recommend you to watch it all. This is a documental. It's a very interesting documental, so if you wanna keep watching the rest of the episodes, I invite you to do it. And did you know many consumer products get their names from Greek mythology? For example, the Nike sneakers are the namesake of the goddess Victory. The website Amazon.com is named after the race of mythical female warriors. There are many high schools and college and professional sport teams which names are Titans, Spartans, Trojans, and even famous characters such as Cyclops from the X-Men. As I told you at the beginning, this was just a little introduction of Greek mythology. I invite you to watch the video and work on the questions. And well, thanks for watching.